Close Racing Supply in Eldred, Pennsylvania has been in business since 1996, serving the motorsports industry with quality parts for dirt late models, modifieds, and stock clip race cars. In stock are parts from top manufacturers like All-Star Performance, Weir's Machine, Sweet Manufacturing, Winner's Performance, Willwood Brakes, and many others. CRS is also home of CRS Race Components, providing top-quality suspension parts. Orders are shipped out daily using UPS, FedEx, and truck freight. Find out more at closeracingsupply.com.
All right, everybody, back again for another episode of the Woah Show, powered by Burnin Sauce Company. Make sure you get your bottle today, and we'll talk more about them later during our ad reads. Today on the show, we have a very exciting guest. She is a Rush late model driver. She is the track champion for PPMS, and she's the first woman to hold a track championship in the Rush late model division, which is super cool. Super cool that I saw that the Rush Late Models gave her award for that too, on top of the extra stuff they do for all of the outstanding drivers in the Rush Late Model series. So welcome to the show, Kassidy.
Thanks for having me.
So first off, Rush Late Model champion at PPMS. Let's talk stats, because this is bananas. PPMS is a track that they hold a couple big Rush Late Model races a year. So you have like a revolving cast of guys that come down and they come see if they can get in the groove of running around this behemoth of a track. I know that I talked with Tyler in our last podcast, and man, there is no place around here quite like it. Every racetrack's unique. This place is, people don't understand.
Mm-mm.
So you finished first in points at PPMS. Out of 69 drivers that have signed in. That's crazy. Let's talk about it. So first off, what does it mean to you to win a track championship at PPMS with the late models?
A lot. It was a dream that I wanted to do that, but I was kind of down on myself and really didn't think it was ever going to happen. And then this year, people kept saying about the points. And I'm very superstitious. I don't want to look at them. I don't want to know. And I was like, okay, all right, well, people are talking, so I must be close. And then a couple weeks before, they posted on Facebook, and I accidentally seen it. And I seen that I was in first place and that I was a good bit ahead. And then the second to last race that we had, where I finished, we were looking, and we realized as long as I showed up the next week, I was going to end up winning it pretty much no matter what. And then it got rained out, which kind of sucked. I wish we would have been able to say that I raced for it, but it still means a lot. I remember being a little girl in the stands, watching everybody, and I'm like, man, it'd be cool to do this one day. And now I'm that person.
And what does it mean to you also to be not only track champion at PPMS? It's a historic venue, right? I don't think a lot of people give it credit. The spotlight is on this place a couple times a year. And it's really cool that we have a track like this. Not only having a track championship there, growing up there, but also doing it as a female in a male-dominated sport. And now, preface this, it is starting to come around, especially with this youth movement, and we'll get on to that here in a little bit, that there are more and more female drivers coming in within the region. But, I was talking to, and I can't remember who it was, and I hate saying old timer because, they all get all upset about saying old, and we were talking about you coming on the show, and they're like, there was a time where most racetracks in the pits, women weren't even allowed to come into the pits. And now we have, how far we've come into the sport to where we have a female track champion in our area.
Yeah, actually, I forget who it was that did an article of all the female drivers at Pittsburgh, and they said that our track was the number one track for most female drivers throughout the divisions. I think there's like 16 of us out there, which is cool, but I mean, it has its tough moments. I can't say that I've ever been targeted because I was a girl, but I feel like they definitely race me a little bit different because they don't want people to be like, you just got beat by a girl, what the heck?
Well, it makes it maybe they want to earn it a little bit more, but looking through your results, it's not like you didn't earn it. A ton of top fives, a ton of top tens, going out there, and like I said, PPMS is a place where some of the best come down and shake down their stuff for the big shows. So you're still out there with some of the top names in the Rush Late Model division. Who are some of the people that you race around that kind of give you, a lot of the help and a lot of the advice? Who do you think has been some of the biggest help during this stuff?
Definitely Tim Schafer. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's like an uncle to me. He really helps. And I mean, there's a couple people that I've become friends with driver wise that they will help out. They'll give me pointers. You still have the ones that I don't think that they think I should be there, but a lot of people have, since I started, a lot of people have came around to actually start speaking to me and giving me pointers and helping me out, which means a lot. I know that they finally respect me as a person.
Well, that's good, and Tim Schafer's a good one to have around, an absolute legend down in your parts,
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to a lot of people that it seems like everybody has their one person that's helped them get along the way, and he's definitely one of the good ones. So let's take it back. So how did you get started in racing, going from being in the stands to getting into a car, and what was your journey?
So when I was 10, there was this, we used to go to the Tim's go-kart track, Schaefer Speedway, and there was this kid there, he raced at Noggles, and he had a wedding to go to, and he was leading the points, so all he needed was someone to run his go-kart. So they asked me, and I was like, I guess. And I cried the first time. I was terrified. I cried in a go-kart. And then I was like, oh, I love this. So then I got a go-kart for Christmas, and I raced go-karts from I was 10, and then I got in a late model the day after my 17th birthday. And then I started racing late models.
So this is such a cool thing because we interview a lot of people that have the youth movement, as I mentioned earlier. There's a ton of talent coming from our go-kart tracks, and you being one of them. There's a lot around here that are having success in the rush divisions. Logan Lockhart, and a sportsman. He's absolutely brilliant. I mean, he's like 13 or 14, or he's a young buck. They all kind of blend together. Ben Easler's another one who came up. He's in a Rush late model, got his first feature win in his rookie season. So what did you learn in your 7 years in go-karts, 6 or 7 years in go-karts, that maybe translated to going into a late model?
I want to say the best thing that helped me is when I first started, I was the only kid out there. So I would go out and do like my own laps by myself in between the races. But for hot laps, once I got to like 11, 12, once I got a little bit older and I had been doing it, was comfortable, I was able to run hot laps with the guys, and like they would purposely not do it to hurt me, but they'd purposely drive past me and bump into me and nudge me just so I could get the feeling of what it was like to race next to people. And I feel like that really helped.
Hi everybody, Woah Nelly from the future here to do glorious ad reads for our lovely 2025 sponsors. And I'm sure this list will grow, however it is early, and we want to make sure we sponsor those who have hopped on early. Close Racing Supply has been a partner of ours since the very beginning. We've been doing the whole, Woah Nelly sponsorship program. It's getting close to race season, guys. Make sure you visit Close Racing Supply for the leading products in the industry and their own. Close Racing Supply does it all. I always say if they don't do it, you don't need it. So make sure you go visit our friends at Close Racing Supply. You don't even have to go in person. They ship nationwide, and it's always kind of crazy to me that we see these guys all over the place on different race cars. We travel a lot for the photo deal, and it's always just real amazing how far those products go. So make sure you are getting to Close Racing Supply today. Your podcast presenting sponsor is a new sponsor for us in 2025. Burnin Hollow Sauce Company's out of Buffalo, where they mix flavor and heat. It's a great balance. They are good buddies. Or Brian is a good buddy of mine who runs that deal. You can order online at Burnin Hollow, no G, burninhollow.com. They are our presenting sponsor for qualifying the Burnin Hollow Hot Sauce Scorcher Award. Whoever does the quick time of the night will be given a nice award from Burnin Hollow. I wasn't a hot sauce guy when it came down to it, but I tried this stuff this past year, and I was like, man, we got to promote this stuff. It is some of the best sauce you can get. I believe there's a wide variety of heat tolerances that we can that you can choose from. I really like the I really like the milder side. As I said, I'm not a very spice guy. However, I'm a very big fan of the Blood of Heroes and Sting of the Ancients. That's their medium and hot. They also have, and they all come with all these cool names. Their mild sauce is Awaken the Dead. The Deep Inferno is their super hot, and their extra hot is Arkham Madness. So, make sure you visit those guys today. I could ramble all day about how great they are and how good. I put that stuff on everything. Man, I was putting it on pizza bagels the other day, just to show you, that it's a very wide variety of uses for the sauce. And also, they made this shirt. They made this hat that I'm wearing, the Caden Bush 3B hat. Good friends of ours. Back again for 2025. Back again as a Woah Nelly Modified sponsor, podcast sponsor, driver of the week. Just like we said for Close Racing Supply, if they don't do it, you don't need it, man. They got, when they drop their energy drinks. I'm telling you, one of the best energy drinks that you can get. From their hats, their t-shirts, their wraps, the quality. And I know we had them on the show very early on for the Woah show. The quality and the creativity between all these designs is amazing. These shirts hold up super well. I beat the ever-living shit out of my stuff. And I mean, dirt tracks ain't too friendly to most of your guys' clothes. So make sure you stop in, see what Carpy can do to you, or do for you. And, tell them that we sent you. They love that stuff, So, man, let's get back to the show. Yeah, and go-karts are an absolute, and I'm not saying brutal in a bad way, but that is an unforgiving type of racing because you can lead an entire race and not win it,
Mhm.
You can be the best person there and someone can outdrive you. I've seen a lot of cool stuff in our area. Maybe not so cool to the guys that have it done to them or those maneuvers. So winning the Rush Late Model title is still a super big deal. You just raced at PPMS this year?
Yes.
Where else? I mean, I know this your career is super new. Are there plans to maybe expand, race a little bit more some other places? Where would be like do you have like a bucket list of tracks that you want to come and race at here in the future?
We're gonna try to run a race at Muskegon County. I went and did the Donnie Moran driving school there, so I got to run on the track, but I didn't get to race on the track. So that's one place I'd like to go. We might try to do Lernerville again this year. I just have very terrible luck there. Didn't even attempt that this year. But so definitely this year, probably Lernerville again and maybe Muskegon County if we get the chance to.
Muskegon County is a cool track that I think a lot of people in my area, it feels like we all talk about going and we never make it either. So hopefully this year will be the year. I mean, I've been trying to go for a couple years now. That place is super cool. There's a couple people that I know that have done the driving school. So let's talk about that too. I didn't even know that. So going to the driving school, what kind of things did you learn? Talk about that experience.
We learned how to set the car up, which, I mean, I learned some stuff, but that was more for, like, my dad to learn that, and then I did about 100 laps on the second day of it. That was a lot. That was tough. I forget what my fastest time was. He said it wasn't very far off from the track record there. But I mean, I learned a lot for small tracks, using my brakes and stuff, because at Pittsburgh, I mean, you don't really have to use your brakes that often. In the week after I went there, I burnt the pads on the car at Pittsburgh because I got so used to using the brakes. I was like, well, now I got to use the brakes. So, yeah, definitely
No,
learning.
no, PPMS is definitely not a braking track. That's a hold on to her and turn. So yeah, let's talk about that too. Is talking about how unique Pittsburgh is. The speeds. Your first couple times out there, how did you burnt the brake, you burnt your brake pads out. How did you adjust to the speeds? Because every time we come there, whether it be with the guy that, I've been pretty tight with doing the Rush Light Metal thing since I started doing the photos. Every time we come here, we're just like, it's like this, it's not an uneasy feeling, but we're just like, if we wreck, boy, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Because up here we have, a lot of tight, I wouldn't say slow racetracks. No racetrack is slow, but PPMS is so fast. It almost like when you go to PPMS for a weekend and then you come back home, everything feels like it's in slow motion again.
Honestly, like, I don't really realize how fast we go there. Like, in the car, I don't feel like I'm going that fast. And then on the video, I'm like, all right, maybe I was going faster than I thought. And then, like, when we raced at Lernerville, I was like, I feel like I have to go so slow. Like, kind of boring. We have to go so slow. So, I mean, I like the fastness of it. The wall, not very forgiving, but I like the fastness.
Yeah, the wall at Pittsburgh doesn't move too good. I've seen some wrecks there, some pretty good ones. Everybody knows that it's not a matter of, if anybody does in racing, it's a matter of when. So is that just like in the back of your mind, or do you like turn the brain off? You're like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, you just gotta pretend like it isn't there. I've had a few run-ins with that wall before in the inside guardrail.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it a couple times in my trips. It's definitely tricky for as fast and as wide as it is. It's super good. So let's talk about, growing up, getting into the sport, what's like your dream, where do you want to be in the future? If let's say there's nothing stopping you, where would you like 5-10 years from now, where would you like your career to be?
I'd like to run a super late, would be nice, but money and we would need sponsors and stuff, so I don't know that that's ever gonna happen, but I don't know, I wish I could be that person on TV running with Lucas Oil or something one day, would be nice.
Yeah, those guys are, I was able to go down to Volusia and see some of the World of Outlaws stuff, and to see, even like, not to say that there's middle teams. There really isn't no middle teams. There's probably 40 or 45 guys that are out there racing for a living that we
Mm-hmm.
saw race, and there were 60 cars there. There's probably 20 guys that were our weekend warriors, just like the majority of us back home. And to see the kind of, it's almost frightening. I would not want to see the accounting for a national level touring team. It kind of freaks me out a little bit. I hate putting tires on my car. You mean you're burning 8 tires a night? All right, so we have a part of our show that we do here. I have to modify it because you are one of the young ones, but it's called the Fast Five Questions. You can ramble on as long as you want about any of these. This is one of my favorite parts that we just started doing. So, who is your favorite race car driver ever, and why?
I would have to say Davy Lee. Nobody's probably gonna really know who that is unless you're from Pittsburgh. He was my favorite when I was little because he had a baby blue car with a hot pink number, and back then I loved hot pink. Now I don't like it. But
That's awesome. This might be a layup one. What's your favorite racetrack?
probably Pittsburgh because I really haven't got to. But second would be Muskegon. I really liked racing there.
What's your favorite moment as a driver that you've had so far?
Autograph night, which is what we do at Pittsburgh. Everyone parks on the front stretch and all the kids get to come down and sign autographs and take pictures and get in the car. That's my favorite thing.
Do you have a long line on autograph night at Pittsburgh?
I do. I never get to sign all the autographs before they kick the people off the track.
It's honestly one of my favorite nights of the year at any racetrack. So, it's pretty common up here that we get it once a year, and I feel like it's always at the end of the year. And a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, we've been watching all year," and then you're, hey, you're saying, "Hey, can't." Thanks for your support. And then you got one more race and it's the end of the season, right? I don't know when your guys' autograph night is because you guys are lucky enough to race all the way up until the first week of October. Your guys' weather is way better than ours. It's more stable earlier and later. Very jealous.
Yeah.
It's super cool. It's super cool to be able to photograph that. Do you have any stories? Do you have like a favorite autograph night?
Probably my first autograph night because I really didn't think anybody was gonna know who I am. And then I had a whole line of kids, and then I was like, I remember when I was that little girl. I'm not that little girl anymore.
So, we got two more. What made you a fan of racing? What was like so a lot of people are like, well, I didn't have a choice. It's a family thing. But if you can remember one thing when you were like, I gotta do this, what would it be?
I don't know. Because when I was little, when I used to go to the races, I always said I would never be a race car driver. And here I am. Probably when I got asked to race the go-kart, I felt like, well, I don't want to let this kid down. I don't really have a choice. I guess I'm going to do it. Now my mom wishes I didn't do it because it costs her a lot of money.
And one last thing. Usually I always ask what's one thing you would bring back, but you're young. I feel like the sport hasn't changed much since fall. I mean, even I've been alive. It's changed a lot, but I feel like it's kind of been pretty similar. So I'm gonna pivot it to what is it here? Stalling out here. What's one thing that you want to do before you're done racing?
I would like to go down and race in Florida. I feel like that would be pretty cool.
That's a good one. Don't do what I did when I went down to Volusia a couple weeks ago, and I went when it was 40 degrees. We went down with Landon Zakalowski. He runs a 604 as well, and it was the coldest. It was all wet and cold, so make sure you go the week after whatever week I went, because man, was that brutal.
I think I got you beat. We went down like 10 years ago, and it was record lows there. It was freezing temperatures, and that's when it was like in the negatives here and everything was closed. We were in Florida.
My rental car just wouldn't, like, I don't think they put heat in any of the cars down there. So my rental car, it was like a 40-minute, I think I was going, I don't even remember where I was going. And I had the heat blasting because for some reason I was like the only guy wearing shorts down there out of all the locals. It was really funny. But like when the sun went down, I was like, oh, I see why you guys are wearing pants now. But hey, before we get out of here, thank all your sponsors, everybody that made this happen.
Greater Pitt Body and Paint, Morley's Welding, McLean and Son Construction, SMS, Vic Potts, Little Valley Kennel, my mom, my dad, my Uncle Jay, my grandma, everybody that just comes out and helps. Each week we have different friends that come out and help on the car, which is really nice because it's just me, my dad, and my uncle that do everything. So it's nice for a little bit of help here and there. And I think that's it.
Well, I'm very excited to see what this year brings for you. We'll be keeping eyes on you. Hopefully a couple of people watching this will be too. Again, congratulations on the Rush Late Model Championship at PPMS. Super cool you have done there. And I can't wait for this youth movement to keep going. More female drivers in the sport. We sponsor 2 right now. So shout out to Kaden Bush and Ariana Samuelson, our girl bosses on the roster this year. We can't wait to. We'll definitely be seeing you at PPMS a couple times. I talked to Tyler about coming down, but can't wait to see what else you're gonna do in racing.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you for joining, and we'll talk to you next time.
In the heat of the game, every drop counts. Introducing Victory Fuel Flavored Electrolyte Water, the ultimate hydration companion.
Silly Bowl champion Logan Seavey. ASCS National Champion Seth Bergman.
Packed with essential electrolytes and bursting with delicious flavor, Victory Fuel keeps you hydrated and fueled to perform at your best. Nothing tastes better than Victory.